again, when we protest for a good cause, I will not take that away. What's next after we protest? Something has to come out of that to show not only the adults, but we have to show the youth. What was the point? Why did we do what we did? Yeah. We weren't just out there just doing it just for the clicks, for the fame. We did that because there was a reason behind it. So I think having the accountables, having in society, our in the black community, holding each other accountable, that's what's missing. We spoken on it before in previous episodes, but we have leaders within our community that may not be held accountable to them being leaders. You know, we let them pass by without being held, without holding them accountable for the things that they're not doing. Welcome, world. Welcome to another episode of the EL2A podcast. I am your host, Jamie Gilmore. To the right of me, as always, you know, Mr. Military Man, Mr. Crafts, Mr. Myles McConaughey. To the right of him, you got the Rocket, E-Rock, Eddie Rockers, FAMU Finest, whatever you want to call him, you know, Eddie Rock Senior. Man, this is another episode today. We're going to start with mental health check-ins, but I want to give a little plug before we get started. All right, so December the 2nd. All right, December the 2nd, we're having our 4th annual Community Fun Day. The 4th annual. You know, we've been doing this thing for 4 years. It get better and better every year. We hope you will come out, bring your friends, your family, the little ones, everyone. Our main event is kickball. This event is just filled around, you know, giving a fun-filled day full of laughter to bring our community together to show unity. Everyone is welcome. You can come out. We're going to have some free food. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have all types of things going, all types of games. Any game you could think of, we'll have it. We'll also have a 3-point contest, skills challenge, giving out some raffles, music, man, just a fun time. Here at Central Christian Church, we'll have an event from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on December the 2nd. Beat us there, don't meet us there, all right? But other than that, fellas, let's get into it. How y'all feeling today, man? Want to tell how you feeling, Brother Myles?
I'd say about a 9.
Why 9, sir?
It was a good day. Just a little bit, not even like really tired. Just kind of, I guess, spacey. I guess is like the term.
Mellow. Yeah, brother's very mellow today, man. He's mellow yellow. How about you, the Rocket?
I'm an 8. Let's see. Today was a good day, and I've been, you know, studying, man, here and there. So just a very consistent day, I guess.
What you studying for, Rocket?
Man, real estate. Hey, you need a realtor? Give me a couple weeks. I'll be you be an agent.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a real estate guy. I'm joining the team. I am a 9, 8.5. I'm an 8.5 today. The reason I'm an 8.5, it's been a great day today. We got some things that we're working on, the Community Fun Day. Pretty much was, you know, making a lot of calls about that. And there's some other things that we're working on that'll come to light soon that I was doing today, and I'm very excited for. But it's a great space to be in. Just love to do the work I'm doing. Love to be with these brothers and doing this work. But we got some good stuff to talk about today, man. We're always constantly having conversations, constantly talking about different things. And you know, I always think, man, we need somebody to be following us and stuff with these cameras to get the conversations, because I think they're very impactful. But we're gonna get into that, you know, a little later. I kind of want to start in the mindset, man. It's the 4th quarter, so I sit at the desk and I was like, dang, it's October, and it kind of made me think, dang, you know, the 4th quarter situation. And rest in peace to Coach Daryl Collins. I was thinking about him today, and I just thought about, you know, what he would be saying right now, and you know, when he thinking the football aspect of the 4th quarter, and it started making me thinking about, like, am I doing what I said I would do in the beginning? So I'm not big on like New Year resolutions, but I do believe you need to put goals in place to, you know, target your year. So did y'all do that? Did y'all have any goals in the beginning of the year? Did y'all have goals?
Yeah, for sure I had goals. Not, like you said, not big on the New Year's resolutions. Yeah.
How much so? Do you have goals?
Yeah, more so for my birthday, not really for the new year itself.
Okay.
Just because this year was first big birthday, I guess, turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some goals. Once I hit 30, I was like, all right, well, you know, I'm already in a good place, but I just want to take it that much further. But shoot, I was already amping up before my birthday actually hit. But once it hit, it just carried over, just kept going even more. So it's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, and I brought that up to see, like, so are you the goals or whatever you set, are you holding on to those things right now? Do you feel like you're reaching those things? Are you flirting with them? You almost there, or how do you feel? You know, and that's for both of y'all.
For the most part, I've exceeded the initial goals I had. So now it's just kind of making new ones as you go along, so that you don't really fall into that complacency.
Okay, I myself. So for the most part, I what I say about 70% been able to fulfill the goals that I set out for.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got the rest of the fourth quarter, so you still got the next 3 months. But I think to your point is where starting out at the beginning of the year in January, again, it's not a New Year's resolution, but starting out at the beginning of the year, if you're pushing towards those goals, by the time you reach the fourth quarter, you don't not necessarily coast, but I feel like by December, I think I should reach the ones that I set up for. So yeah. And I bring this up, man, because for our views, I know we get hitting on different topics, and it may feel like we're targeting one population and other. But this podcast, you know, it's for everybody. Everybody can gain something from this podcast. And I know every person watching this can feel, you know, the concept of, am I accomplishing my goals? Am I not accomplishing my goals? And we all do set our goals. So for myself, I'm kind of, I don't even remember what they were. I don't even think I wrote them down. It was just stuff in my mind. But it worked. I had goals of reading. Reading was when I was going to read so many certain books. But I got a lot crazy busy, and I ain't been reaching that. So that's one thing that I do, even for myself. I know I do a lot of podcasting. I can start doing a lot of audio books. So there's things that I can fix. But I know that was one thing that stick out to me that I said I was going to do that I haven't done. But for you, whoever may be stuck, you know what I mean, whoever in this quarter right now, and like, okay, it's fourth quarter and I have it, you know, that may cause somebody to shut down. Or somebody will be like, all right, it's over. I just try again next year.
Right.
But it's like, man, these are the most important quarter you can ever go through right now. Because it's like, instead of you shutting down right now, you pushing through this, that's going to carry. Most people don't like understand that. Like, this game is going to carry you to the next game. Right. You know what I mean? If you're shutting down right now, that same mentality is going to take you into next year. So it's more so just pushing through and not giving up. It's like, it's so easy to give up and fold up and go to sleep and not focus on your goals or not do what you're supposed to do, but pushing through. So this message is for you, whoever watching this message for you to just push through. So during this fourth quarter, man, give it all you got. Those goals that you wrote out, even if you may not be accomplishing those goals, still push through. Give you willpower, to grit, everything that you have to push through these fourth quarters to make up for any, you know, time or anything that you missed out on. You could push through and make up. You know, you may not achieve that goal, but you can make up some of that loss that you may have. This is another powerful thing to it too, though, because you got people that may not even set goals to begin with. So they don't do New Year's resolutions, or they don't set goals. So imagine the headspace that person may be in, where you may feel like you're not accomplishing anything at all. So now you get to the point of like you just, you know, you basically in a hamster wheel, just going in circles. You're spinning your wheels, going nowhere. So I think for me, setting out goals actually help you. It actually helps push you through the year, so that, you know, you do have these attainable things. You have these things that you want to achieve that helps you. You know, if you look back on what you're trying to achieve, it's like, okay, well, am I there yet? So it's going to push you to try to, you know, strive to reward. But if you don't have that at all, now you just there, you just existing. So, you know, you get to that point of like, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
So sometimes people may feel like, okay, I don't want to set goals, or I don't want to have a New Year's resolution. But at the same time, when they may, because they may feel like, you know, I'm not going to achieve them. Okay, well, if you don't try to strive for anything, you're not going to do anything at all. You feel we just going to stay stagnant. So I believe setting goals is something good that can, again, help push you throughout the year to make you better.
The moral to it is, you know, what's not measured can be managed. Yeah. That's just anything in life. If you don't measure it, if you don't sit there and adjust or reassess it, then you can't manage it. You can't be on top of it. You can't, as you said, there's nothing to propel you forward.
Mm-hmm. It's having a destination, saying, hey, going, wrapping it up. The same thing with the destination. And, you know, I get that analogy all the time with, you know, having a destination, you getting on the road and trying to go somewhere. You can get on the road and get in your car, but if you have nowhere to go, you're just driving around. You're going to run out of gas sooner or later. But even if you have a destination locked in, you have your GPS, you can make the wrong turn. As long as you know where you're going, you can always, even if you don't got a GPS, if you can stop at the store and, you know, ask, hey, man, which way do I need to go there? You can tell that person, you know, that person that can help you. You know, hey, I'm trying to go here. I don't got my GPS and I really don't know how to get there. Can you help me out?
Right.
And it can get you there. But if you don't know what you're doing, sometimes we even work with young men like we do. If they coming in and they don't have, it's kind of hard to reroute them, because that's why we do self-discovery the first thing when they get in, because we're trying to help them figure out who they are and where they're going. You know what I'm saying? So if you coming in and you don't know any of that, yeah, what is this? You know, it's a mess. You know, you're just driving around and in the headlight, deer in the headlight, literally. And so you're just driving around. And I think that's very crucial, man, for people. And it may come off as common sense. And that's one thing I had to learn, you know, through my journey of life. Is common sense ain't common.
No.
And then what's common to you, not common to me. And we see things differently. And to be that concept that we're speaking of, we up here talking about it, and it seems common. It seems like common sense. Right. But somebody watching this may be like, man, hey, I hear you, but I don't know how. I don't know how to find my destination. And I think that's a key point. You know, somebody, you know, reaching out, seeking out. Even for us, you know, what we do, man, I would love if we had a community full of people that wanted to do better, and they say, okay, I think them gentlemen may know how to help me, and they reached out. I don't care if you're an adult. I would love to help people, man. Help them reach. I think I do have a ability to see something, or like give vision or something. If somebody like they could tell me something about themselves, I'm like, man, you seem like you want to do this. So if they tell me something, break it down. I've done it multiple times with different people. I just would hope that, you know, people would know that you need, like we say right here, you need that vision, you need that foresight, you need that destination to be able to attack your goals. That's exposure. Exposure leads to access. Yeah. Your exposure, to your point, the exposure that you experience can help somebody else reach that next level. Yeah, access to whatever it is that they're trying to get to. Yeah, take it to the next level, man. Stop playing with your life. All right, be the boss. Be the boss of your own life. Stop waiting. You know, I'm gonna say that every time y'all tune in. Stop waiting on somebody to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. Be the boss of your own life. You're the CEO of your life. Everybody want to be a CEO. Everybody want to be an entrepreneur. Manage yourself first. You know, be the governor of your own life first before you think you can run a business. If you can't be able to get yourself out of bed on time and go to work on time, if you can't, you know, give yourself structure of working out, of doing different things that you need to do to self-manage yourself, that's another thing. You can't even self-manage yourself. You know, people, you know, they want to do these things and they can't even manage themselves, but they can manage a business. Yeah. You know what I mean? That mindset alone is a crippling mindset. You got to be able to start with yourself. You know what I mean? If you're a person that's able to set goals out for yourself and able to knock them out, maybe you can move on to manage a business. You know what I mean? But start at a smaller scale. Okay, I'm going to set myself on a goal to be able to kill it at home doing something, in a gym doing something, and be able to test your will, you know, and go through those things and testing yourself out. Be your own boss. All right. Stop waiting on people to save you. Stop giving your power away. You have the power. All right. You have the power. All right. With that being said, we're going to go into our conversation another day. Again, we have amazing conversations through text or even in person. And Myles, you know, he threw across a great topic that he mentioned. And the topic was military. Why do we give our power? No, it wasn't. Why do we kill? What was it? Remind me.
Why do we celebrate nothing?
Why do we celebrate nothing? That's exactly what the brother said. The brother said, why do we celebrate? Now, I want you to pause for a second and answer this question. Before we go into it, I want you to ask yourself, why do we celebrate nothing? And when you think about that, what comes to mind when you hear that topic? But Myles, if you could go in to give us a mind frame you in. So when you said that to me, my brain went in so many different directions. I started throwing different things out, but I want to know the mindset you were in and where did your mind go when you brought that topic up?
For sure. So kind of what stirred that topic being thrown out was just last week I just saw a bunch of like events on social media. It was from different marches, different just any type of event like that. And then it got me to start thinking back on some of the social media topics of before, where something would happen and then people would, you know, just go crazy talking about it. But then, like, at the end of the day, you sit back and think, like, but what was actually accomplished? What was it actually, you know, achieved by bringing all this attention to whatever it may be?
Yeah.
Nothing. And so, but people celebrate it. People sit there, will cheer it on. People act like it's the second coming, all these different things. But at the end of the day, there's no actual change that come about it. I mean, it's from various things. It can be even with a presidential election. All right, people sit there and act like because they're chosen politician won, that means they're waking up in a new mansion tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, it's not. Or even we talking about with sports, with Kaepernick kneeling during the flag, for example. People sat there and championed behind it, did all these things, promoted it, but what actually changed? And to be clear, it's not saying that the act of doing these things or promoting these things is bad,
Right.
but what's like, are we sticking to those events, to those movements to make sure that something's actually being achieved at the end of it? That's the question that I often have. Like, what did we accomplish with this? What changed because we did this? And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the aspect, the theatrics. So everybody come together, everybody making hashtags, quotes, talking about it. We get so caught up in that moment that we don't sit there and stay to the grind to make sure that something positive actually came about.
And I think a big reason that things like that come across, because as a people, we've been so, I guess, censored, or the word is to what I'm trying to say is we're threat sensitive. So when something we feel as if it's a threat to us, we become very sensitive to them, and we like to deem it as racism. Like anything, like when you went to the military, like anything that becomes a threat, we jump on that, and we're very sensitive to it, but we're not opportunity sensitive. So we don't see the opportunity at most things. I think we more so just jump on, okay, this is gonna threaten us, so we need to come around and jump on and rally around each other and stop it.
Right.
As far as seeing the opportunity, okay, so let's sit around, let's stop, pause for a second. Okay, this may be we may be deemed as a threat. We're not gonna first off say this is racism, because we're not just gonna jump and say that, but we're gonna say, okay, what is our what is the issue, and what can we get out of this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have no systems, no strategies. For example, myself, and you know, political thing, because you did bring that up. I was born to be a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I was never told why. I just told we vote Democrat. There's ballots that come out when voting time comes, and for the black community, there's ballots that come out that has already, if you don't know what to vote, you know, this is what we suggest type of thing. I don't know why we got these people's name on here. There's no backing to what we do. It's just you do it.
Yeah.
We were kind of raised in that time. Like, as we were raised, you do what I say.
Yeah.
Type of thing. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that was wrong with that, but there's some things we need to explain.
Yeah.
As political interests are those things, because now we're in a situation where it's a different world.
Yeah.
Kids are different. We got different access to information, and we want to know more.
Right.
They're just not going to go with just because you said. Because and now kids are being able to say, okay, mama, daddy, grandma, and granddaddy, we've been doing the same thing. We've been getting the same results. But that don't work for me. I want different. So now we're questioning things. And I think there was never a roadmap left for us. Okay, we did this because of this. You know, we did. And not saying that's for everybody, because I'm pretty sure some families have that. But for the most part, as a people, we don't have that.
Yeah.
So right now, I just sat here on this stage last week with Mr. Jenkins, and I stated that we have, for the black community, we have a person from the outside coming in trying to help us on issues that we should be able to solve ourselves.
Right.
But there was nothing left for us to view. There was nothing left for us to see. So I think that's what comes to, we celebrate nothing, because all we had was, you know what I mean? All we was given was, and we never were taught to, that we had the power, that the power lies within.
Right.
So I think most people are there circling around trying to ask somebody for something. I think that's what it comes from. So that's what I mean. That am I right? Do y'all hear where I'm going with that?
I agree. Also, so, and to go with that, you also have people that, not for nothing, when something does happen, when we say, all right, somebody does something like, so Kaepernick taking him kneeling, what was the purpose behind that? You know what I'm saying? So if something is unknown, or if we don't know why, we go back to that. If we don't know the reason why he's doing it, now it's deemed as wrong. So now you have you have other people that's deeming him kneeling as this bad thing, which I'm not saying it was good or bad, but at the end of the day, now all of these riots and all this craziness that's going on, protesting that's going on, all this protesting is going on, but they never ask them why. So now all these things going. Now you have the black community versus the white community, or Democrats versus Republicans. In actuality, it should have been, they should have checked with him, because he was the one that started. What was the reason behind it? And then now, so when you have the two forces of the two races going against each other, I guess it would
the protesting and the fighting wouldn't go on, so to speak, or it may not have gone on had they known why. So then when you say, when you think of certain things within the community, so not for nothing, protesting that went on right here in Marion County, we all got together, within the black community, everybody rallied around each other when a life was lost. But then what came out of it? We know why it happened, but like what was the purpose? What was the purpose of the rallying, the protesting? And the real question is what came out of it? Like what was the end result of it? You know what I'm saying? And even so, before we move on to that, rest in peace to Miss Owens, because that's the situation we're talking about. So we don't want to make light of that situation that was there. The situation was terrible, and our heart and everything goes out to that family in the days they were going through. But the conversation of what you're saying is basically just wrapped around, the not the situation that happened, but the people that, react to the situation. So we're not mixing up, because the situation was unfortunate and it shouldn't have happened. But we're talking about the reaction of that unit to the situation. So to your point, I was just trying to.
That's primarily my point, because it's like, okay, we have these unfortunate things that happen, things that outside of our individual control, bad things happen, then we react to it. The thing is, when we react to it, make sure that you're not wasting that passion, wasting that time, wasting that energy, because it's easy for us to come together as a collective to say that this is a bad thing. Mm-hmm. But what's not easy and what we lack in our track record is staying together and saying that we're not going to stop until we get something out of this situation. Sure. So then when people come together and congregate, we celebrate it, and then we stop short of that every single time. So that's primarily the mindset I had when we started discussing this, because I'm like, okay, how many times will something happen and I see people come together rallying, but then it ends. As soon as the cameras get out of, off the street, as soon as the cameras get put down, everybody going about their day. Everybody going about the, they livelihoods, everything else. Nothing happens. And then we sit there and say, well, why isn't anything happening? Well, why don't we keep that constant pressure at all? So that's
but in the concept of like what we're saying, it becomes a social, like a celebrity type of thing. So it was cool to be up there at the downtown at the not the rally, but the protest. It was cool to be up there. So it becomes a thing that now we're going away from the issue of why we're here. Mm-hmm. Now we just, because it's everybody else is up here, so I'm gonna go up there too. Mm-hmm. The dude on live, I see somebody on live. He talking about something. It's like 5,000 people watching his live because he's there, and he's making it as if they're watching it because he's cool. Yeah. I love my city. My city support me, but brother, they not watching you because they want to see what you talking about. They're watching it because you're at this the topic of the world right now. You know what I mean? Now you didn't sit up, but I think people mindset they're not able to decipher these things. So now we make this thing like a social cool thing. So now you got people, for myself, and it's nothing. So this is just me. This is thoughts of Jamie Gilmore. I'm watching this. I see young people. Some people I'm seeing. I'm like, all right, bro. Like you add no value to the community day in and day out. But you're here. Okay, why are you here? Right. Why are you here? What are we getting out of here? Because you got some cats that deal with their pants sagging. They're walking around. But it's like, what is the goal? Just to your point, we're saying, what's the goal of everybody being? And I think we will not have progress until we get on the same page.
But so the reason why I even asked the question was just to bring up the conversation in and of itself, to get to the overall, like the problem I see with us. And when I say us, it's not even just pertaining to the Black community, but just in general, just what you said. Mm-hmm. Because we take something that happens, we use it at the time that it's the new buzz. We use all the energy that's around, and then we look for self-profit. Right. And so it becomes more, how can I get clout off of this? How can I get a level up off of this? Because we made social media such a equalizer of sorts, where you can go from being unheard of to being popular. Everybody got voice to get money off of just nothing. Mm-hmm. So these things we celebrate nothing, because it's not even about what it is we there for in the first place. We just see it as a cash grab, an opportunity to sit there and get our own name out there. And so then at the end of the day, the whole point while we was there, the whole point while we sitting rallying is just null and void because there's no intention of actually progressing forward because it's all about, okay, I just got to get this. I got to get my bag off of this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, even so, Mr. Whitfield was it a couple weeks ago, and then the things that we talked about. If nothing is done off of these riots, these protests, at that point in time, during the protests that happened, there were kids that were here. There were kids in, protesting with the adults, which I truly understand because it was for a cause, like something that was very heartbreaking for the community of what happened. But at the end of the day, if the reason we protested was for what had happened, and you have these kids here because of what had happened, you're trying to get something out of it. But nothing came out of that. I'm not gonna say nothing came out of it because it did. But a lot of people responded. A lot of leaders within the city, within the country, they responded. But then you still have these young kids that were there that now they can say, yes, I protested in this. When the protest happened, I was there. But then how won't that cycle continue because they didn't see anything really come out of it?
Yep.
Like what was you get what I'm saying? Like nothing really. Yeah. It did justice served it.
Because to Jamie's point, like he said, there's nothing left behind that shows somebody a blueprint. So it does become a repeated cycle. And it doesn't even have to be over something that's a tragedy. It's just that part, it just kind of segue into what we're talking about right now. But it can either be, like I said, with perceived wins, with elections, with people don't engage in their community for 2 to 4 years at a time. Then all of a sudden it's election time. Now everybody pro whatever.
Yeah.
I'm all about these people. I'm all about this. Where were you in the last 2 to 4 years? Now you go in there, take 2 minutes to punch a hole in the seat. This guy gets up there, or this woman gets up there. You know nothing of their policy. You know nothing of anything that they're saying that they're going to do for you.
Right.
And now you celebrating. We won. What did we win? What did we win? We don't even have an anti-hate crime bill for us. But we sit there and do all these theatrics. It's mind-boggling.
And one big thing, so when we talk about celebration, so think about what we celebrate in our community. We celebrate when somebody come home from jail. We celebrate dumb stuff. You get what I'm saying? So our whole thing of celebrations don't even make sense. You get what I'm saying? You got 40-year-old people that's on flights for clubs and stuff. Hey, if you club, that's your touche. Do your thing. Not wrong with it. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's celebratory in our community. Brother, we just had what is it, Mr. Frank Washington?
Yeah.
What? Fred Washington. I'm pretty sure that's brother name. This man just got a role named after him. Fred Washington. And I didn't even know what's going on. I kind of figured out, I think Miss Cynthia posted and I seen it. Like, this man just got a role name and we're not celebrating this? But we celebrate all types of other nonsense that go on in our community. This man just got a role named after him. And after I did my research and read the article, been in education for so many years, a principal, assistant principal, and making change. You get me in young people's life, but that's not the celebratory thing.
No.
Because he ain't shot nobody.
Yep.
And he ain't sold no drugs. You get what I'm saying? But that's a crazy thing. This man is living right now.
Yep.
Got a role named after him, bro. And that's not a big thing. That's worth celebrating.
But I guarantee you more people know about Sexy Red being pregnant.
Right.
Something like that.
You get what I'm
Again, celebrating nonsense.
Right.
Celebrating stuff that has nothing to do with your individual life. Has nothing to do with your community. Nothing. They will celebrate that. They'll make a post about it. It'll go viral. Oh, so-and-so. Okay, what does that do for you? And, I try not to come off like, oh, it's some elitist thinking like, oh, you so beneath. It's not even about that. It's not about that at all. It's just you get tired of the wasted energy because it's like, well, dang, we trying our best to do stuff out here. But, like we thought about, like, bro, like a post will go viral over the dumbest thing possible.
And we got man, I'm sitting here thinking about the brother right now as we saying it, man. I would like for all of us to get together, 'cause I know his house here. We would get some flowers for that man and take him, just walk him up to the doorstep and really celebrate him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we can all, and, my mind just be working in that type of way as we talk. And I'm like, man, I instantly go to how I work. We get the cameras and go. It don't have to be that situation, but I think it's good for people to see it. That's why we do stuff. That's why we have a camera live. We do it because it's good for people to see it. And it's more so shedding more light on him. You get what I'm saying? More than us. It's more so people can see, okay, who is this? Oh, let me look this up. Let me see what he's done and give him the light that he deserved, man. Because somebody got to be the change, and we say that a lot. Somebody has to be the change, and we are the change. We are the change. So we have to start shedding light on so much positivity. You know what I'm saying? It's a road. He has a road mean out there. I mean, the neighborhood is where he lives, where a house is. Like, they like the coolest thing, and I hope they name something after me. You get what I'm saying? I hope I've done enough for people where they feel they should put my name or something. You get what I'm saying? They feel I'm worthy enough of that. And you like to say, we focus so much on BS, bro. We don't. It's not real life topics. It's nothing life changing. It's nothing that's going to help us grow. It's nothing, but it's just total BS and chaos that we focus on in the sense of in our society as a whole, and even in our community where we live. And I think a lot of it starts here in the groundwork. So a gentleman like him, and we say that with Mr. Whitfield when he was sitting right there, man, we need to start calling you in here, man, and meet with you to get some advice from you. Same thing with this gentleman right here. We don't know what type of advice he can give us. He's been there. He's been in these schools. I heard even at his celebration, one of Pastor Howard got the mic. He just was telling, stories of how he used to powder them and get them straight and all that different stuff. But that's stuff, we need that, bro. We need that type of, even now I was thinking in my mindset, which, man, I wonder how we can get that same effect. We can't powder kids, but how can we get that same type of feeling or the same type of effect in this day and age without putting the powder to them? Yeah. What does it take?
You got to move that benchmark. And it, like you said, it comes from celebrating the proper things and really gassing up the proper things. Because when you sit there and gas up all these things that's either destructive or it just leads to nothing, amounts to nothing, subconsciously that in people's heads, like, oh, that's what I got to do to get applause. Most people want applause. Most people want a pat on the back saying, hey, you're doing a good job. Right. So when we celebrate nonsense, people are wired to do nonsense because that's what we clap for. Right. It's like with a kid. If a kid gets straight A's, you clap for him, and then you have another kid who just do a cartwheel and you clap for him. One is going to constantly try to improve his academics because, I got applaud. The other one's just rolling on the floor. Yeah. So it's like, it's the same thing in the community, man. We got to applaud the people that's actually doing this stuff. Celebrate that. Celebrate actual accomplishment, not superficial stuff. It's just, that thought even goes into like the grades and stuff. Like we celebrate things. I think in life there's so many things that you're supposed to do. Like we celebrate things that are you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to clean your room. You're supposed to brush your teeth. You're supposed to get good grades. You're supposed to. But we built the habit of saying, "Hey, good job. Yeah, good job, good job." So now kids feel the need that you have. You didn't see me tie my shoes. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not going to clap for me? Yeah. I just tied my shoes. And like, bro, get out my face. Yeah. Like, it's going to take more than that to press me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So we got to, like you say, move the benchmark, man, of what's accepted. And I think about this all the time. This is me personally, man. Again, I don't have my own child right now, but I constantly think about when I raise it like a human being. And it's not easy. Everybody love to tell somebody with kids it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy, but the ideology of the mindset, that I will feed into my child, but not being able to, life ain't gonna give you nothing. Like I'm a type of parent, I be like, I'm gonna put my bottle with your bottle over there. You got to crawl to your bottle. I'm never just gonna give you your bottle. You ain't able to crawl, real talk. Like when you become a child and you crawling, I would never give my child a bottle. I put it somewhere where they got to crawl or they got to work to go get it. Because I'm going to build that mindset in them early that you have to work for these things. There's nothing given in his life. But just think about that challenging mindset right there. Like, okay, that baby had to crawl. That's going to do something in that baby. In that little mind of theirs, it's going to do something to them at that moment to know they got to earn it. I have to earn, my stomach is rumbling or whatever. I have to earn that good feeling that I want. You get what I'm saying? So that's the mindset that they're building at a young age. So concept I'm going to go to y'all in that analogy with a baby. How do we change people's mindsets to know that they have to earn that good feeling? First off, I always say this: you gotta be mindful of your circle, because people nowadays they're so sensitive to mental health, which is a serious thing. But I think sometimes you can swing the pendulum too far. And now it's more socially acceptable to just applaud every little thing that your friend does to the point that it almost becomes a hindrance. I know, for example, it's an individual that, they have all these grandiose ideas, these dreams, these goals, and those are good. It's good to have them. But every little time they just make a suggestion or they talk about their goal, they get applauded. So now, just kind of sitting back at this whole interaction between them and their larger circle, it's like you start to see a pattern. They're doing less and less moving towards the actual goal, because only thing you gotta do is just talk about it and you get applauded. Celebration is when you achieve something. You earn something. Now you celebrate. Now you sit there and come together and applaud a graduation, a wedding, a baby being born, all these things. Like, it's something actually happening. But it's now just talk. People just talk, they get applauded. They sit there and say, oh, I want to do this. They get applauded. So now there's really no reason to ever achieve anything, because you can get all the attention, all the pats on the back just from merely talking about what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's it. So,
or dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, that too. So, you know, so there's really no incentive of actually going to reach that goal, or like you said, they're crawling towards what you want. It's like people say, well, hey, you know, yeah, I'm still a little bit hungry because I only got these little crumbs here and there. I didn't get the actual meal I wanted, but hey, I'm getting the celebration. I'm eating okay. So it's a win-win. They don't really see that need. Okay, let me go. Keep going all the way till I actually reach my end goal.
Yeah, so complacency. I hear complacency. That's what I heard.
Man, you'll get applauded in the mediocrity. I'm telling you. You better keep tabs on your friend, man. And I ain't saying have that hating friend, because, you know, it's people that like congratulate you in an underhanded way. Mm-hmm. I ain't talking about that. But it's like people that's actually like, hey, man, that's all right. No, I hear you. But what's next? Yeah. What's next? Come on. What's next? Don't settle for them friends that just be like, hey, nah, good, man, you doing good stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know that you haven't even taken the next step for it at all. That's not all right.
Even something like this, so with the pod, and I love to like branding. Like branding is something I like seeing something and putting the branding around. I like that. So even like with Cut, different things we done, and even now with the EL2A podcast, being able to see, okay, we know like this is valuable stuff, you know, because we're doing it. We like, this is very valuable. And you're constantly, it's easy to say, okay, why isn't nobody tapping into this right now? But if we got into this right now on this podcast, if we start talking about the drama that's going on in youth athletics, if we talked about the drama that's going on just in the world, right, we'll get clickbaits all over the world. Yeah. If we start giving out hot topics on how we felt about Sexy Red or Cardi B or anybody, and start talking about women, demoralizing women or saying crazy thing about women, how they booties and whatever, yeah, we'll get so many clicks. But because we over here saying educational stuff, we giving people on how to make their life better, they kind of shy away from it, because they're going to have a responsibility. If they hear this, they're going to have a responsibility to go do what they just heard. Right. So it's easy for me not to listen. Mm-hmm. Because if you guys are giving me the answer to my problems, that means I have to actually go do what it takes to get rid of my problem. And that's the hard part. So most people shy away from positive or informational information because it gives them another thing to do. It puts another thing on their plate. Because I just heard this young brother tell me exactly what I need to do. Mm-hmm. And now that's the other thing on my shoulder of another thing I have to do. And it's easy for me just to escape it and go listen to Sexy Red talk about the booty hole brown and negative stuff. Yeah. Instead of listening to some stuff that's really going to change your life.
Bruh, it isn't. There's been a time I didn't. No. There's been a time, I kid you not, we've said something on this podcast that I know a person who needed that information listened to the podcast, right? They immediately went to social media and started posting the same stuff that you just talked about. So I see it in real time. And that same person still, well, I don't know what but it's, and then these people too, they will argue you to death with theory on stuff. It's always they got a rebuttal for everything except their own problem. You sit there, you trying to help them out. You trying to, well, you know, it's, so I just learned, man, you know, I'm just going to keep putting the information out there. If it resonates, it resonates. If it don't, then, you know, it don't. It's on you at the end of the day.
So you mentioned that person that hears the positive stuff and they like, okay. But then, Myles, you alluded to the groups of people that you hang around, the groups of people that you keep around also. So with the example that you just gave, we know the things that we do right here with Cut Different. We know that, that it's positive things, and we know that it's gonna somebody's gonna be touched by what we're doing, whether it's the people in the community or the kids that we mentor. But then you also have to, even though we may not be celebrated, and I think this goes back to, the original topic, even though we may not be celebrated by the community, so to speak, and I'm speaking in a whole, even though we may not be celebrated by the community, so to speak, within our group, within our organization, the men that are mentors, we continue to push each other no matter what.
Right.
So then when you have friends, a circle who's not narrow-minded, so to speak, when it's time to hold them accountable, that friend is going to make sure. So I tell you, I failed the real estate test the first time, but I did that on purpose. I not only told y'all, I made sure I told the kids as well. Oh, because we failed on purpose? No. I told you on purpose that I failed the test. Oh, I told them on purpose that I failed the test. So I actually tried to pass. But I told you all on purpose because I needed that accountability. Because now when we talk about it, you will ask how it's going, or when if I'm telling you that I'm studying, said you give positive feedback. The kids, for the kids, when I told the kids that I failed, even my own kids, I told them that on purpose because it's okay that you failed in life, but it's what you just said is what's next.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, are you going to still fail you? Are you going to show them? Are you going to prove to the kids? Are you going to prove to your accountability partners, or are you going to prove to the world that you're able to attain something? And again, I think that's why I say it goes back to the original topic, because again, when we protest for a good cause, I will not take that away. What's next after we protest? Something has to come out of that to show not only the adults, but we have to show the youth. What was the point? Why did we do what we did?
Yeah.
We weren't just out there just doing it just for the clicks, for the fame. We did that because there was a reason behind. So I think having the accountables, having in society, our in the Black community, holding each other accountable, that's what's missing. We spoken on it before on previous episodes, but we have leaders within our community that may not be held accountable to them being leaders. We let them pass by without being held, without holding them accountable for the things that they're not doing. We just, like you said, we stay mellow.
Yeah.
We stay mellow and just let them fly by under the radar. But somebody has to step on those toes and rattle those feathers and say, hey, that's, you're not leading in the correct way. Because there are people behind us, the kids who we mentor, they're going to be the future leaders. And if we don't change that thought process now, it's going to be the same thing over and over.
So
why the strategist thing, and I'm about to say that's why the strategy is important, because you can easily identify when somebody's out of line. Right now, there's no strategy, so anything gives. You get what I'm saying? If you're doing some foul, it's foul, and you make some money in our community, you still could be deemed as a cool person because you got some money in your pocket. But if we have a strategy that aligns, it's like, nah, you're making money, but what you're doing goes against the strategy. You get what I'm saying? We can easily identify this is wrong from right. Right now, it's everything goes. You get what I'm saying? If it's nothing, there's no scale to value this is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, you constantly know, but again, that goes back to the common sense thing. Just because something right to me don't mean it's right, you wrong, and vice versa. But we have that strategy to be able to help us align ourselves. Like, we can clearly see this is what we've laid out for ourselves. And you're getting away from that, and you messing us up.
So I have a question for the both of you. So, with that being said, with the constant celebrations, with nothing coming afterwards, do you think that's why there's a general sense of like hopelessness in pockets of the community, even at large? You can't really go on social media now without people just always doom and gloom right now, because obviously there's things going on in the world. We got conflicts, we got all these things. Get it. But for the average person, do you think that's where it largely comes from? Because you're getting sold on a celebration, right? In the back of your head, again, celebration means that something happened, good happened.
Yeah.
But at the end of these celebrations, life continues on without any real positive change or elevation for the average person. So do you think that's where like some of that fatigue come in, that hopelessness, that lack of engagement when people are trying to do things, they just kind of
see if it goes. So step up, and I want to paint the picture of, so we talk through the eyes and the experience of black males. We are black males, so when we speak, we say a lot of stuff about the black community because that's what we know. You know what I mean? That's where our perspective comes from. But the concept of what we're saying is a whole community thing. We're not just about the black community, we're about the whole community. Obviously, this is a piece of the puzzle that we're making better, but we want the whole thing to be good. We're working together with everyone, all angles to be able, so this pod, it's not just about black. But to answer your question, this is not just a black thing, this is the everybody thing. I think the celebrating nothing is a huge thing. Again, we celebrate New Year's, we celebrate your cousin's birthday, so there's so many celebrations throughout the year. So think about it from in a year's time point. Okay, if a person that celebrates, I celebrate the New Year's, I celebrate the birthday, the 4th of July, I celebrate everything that comes about. I celebrate the first Saturday, the first Friday, and I celebrate it so much. When a real accomplishment comes and I go out to celebrate it, and it's the same feeling of the celebration I celebrated on first Friday. There's no sense of victory because I've been doing it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because we're so used to celebrating that. So if you're putting somebody on a pedestal because they're on a flyer for first Friday, and then this person actually does something, if they do something and it gets the same height, it's like we have no playing field to give anybody the motivation to even want to go for it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because everything is we celebrate nothing.
And the unfortunate thing is, if you're on a flyer for a club and then you actually accomplish something, it's going to be here, and then you're going to be down here for actual achievement. So then, like I said before, what's the point? Most people need that affirmation, that validation, because most people they're externally motivated. A lot of people aren't intrinsically motivated. At least in my observations of most people, that's in the not only just like the physical area, but also in social media. You can tell a lot of people are motivated to do certain things because they're wanting that applaud or those likes, those care reacts that's going to come afterwards. So it's just, why put in all this extra work to actually do something gainful? Again, if I could just spoon feed some BS and I'm getting the love reaction, what's the point?
Yeah, and that's a real thing, man. We have to I think that's why we're so pivotal, and it's not on a cocky standpoint, but just being honest. I know there's a lot of things we talk about, and we have to begin to formulate that mentality amongst the community, get like-minded people. And it's another thing I say, even, everybody don't have to be like-minded, we like-hearted. Like if you're heart in the right place,
right.
You know what I mean? If you got the heart for the community, we can figure it out. We don't have to think alike. That's the beauty of diversity. We can come in and have different perspectives. And, because like-minded always been a key term. I like-minded people. It's like, I want like-hearted people around. I just want your heart in the right place. Because if your heart in the right place, I know you're not going to cross me. You're not going to do different things.
Exactly.
And we can get on the same page. If you got a good heart, we'll figure it out. We'll do what's best for the group. You don't have to have the same mind, but the heart, if in the right place, and I think that's the key thing, man. We got to go out and do the work we do because we're going to track for yourself, for Brother Warren. You guys were attracted to this thing, because we were started something, we were doing the work. You say, I can identify myself with that. And you became, and now you guys come and make it stronger. That's how we keep growing this thing. Like, people will be attracted to it. Now, it takes people a lot, because even with yourself, it took you a lot to get here. Your wife, I think you said you saw it, or some of your wife, your wife saw it, but those strings were attached, and now we're here making, beautiful things happen. And I think that's even for the rest of the connection, we got to keep going. But I do, as we close out, I do want to, because we can bring up problems all day. And I hate problems, I don't like people bring me problems. So for the viewers watching, they can be like, okay, you talked about the problem, but how do we fix it? Okay, so when you say, why do we celebrate nothing? Okay, so what's the solution to it? What's the solution to not celebrating that? What is something that people can do? What is something that our community can start trying to practice? What are some systems that we can put into place to help people not celebrate nothing? You know what I'm saying? So what are some things I think we could do? The problems. Solutions.
The solution, I say, stop being afraid to delay gratification. Now everything has to come quick.
Yeah.
It did, especially if you sit there talking about gainful improvements, whether it's self or external, it takes time. It takes time to sit there and break bad habits within yourself. It takes time to sit there and get people to congregate for, like you said, for a like-hearted situation to improve a area or a system. It takes time. So if we know that it takes time, stop celebrating so quick, because now You have people who, for lack of, that may be the only reason why they was there is because they want to be associated with something that's applauded. So when you sit there and get on that quick hit, they're in and out because, I got my cloud builder, I'm out. Yes, I get it. You're gonna have some people too, as we know, when you try to continue on a path of fixing something, you're gonna have many people over time jump on the bandwagon because they like, okay, I see this going somewhere. But then when they see how hard it is to actually create something, to fix something, they jump back off.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let them jump. Because for every 3 people that jump on and 2 that hop off, you still got that one that's on there. Yeah. So keep trucking ahead, keep going on to actually hit your goal and just delay that gratification, man. It's a lot sweeter once you actually get it. Now you can sit there and say, man, look at what all we accomplished. But now we saying, look at all we accomplished. We got another show for it.
Late gratification. I just assess the problem or the situation. I think a lot of times we act or react not knowing why. We don't do the research to actually know why the protest is going on or why we're liking whatever. Somebody posted something negative on social media. We have to know why it's going on. And I think after you assess the situation, then that gives you, that's self. Now you have, I guess you're influenced. You're telling yourself, you're not getting empowered by other people to just jump on the bandwagon. If you truly want to get on because you did the research, then now you do it and you're justifying why you did it. Exactly. You're not just doing it because the community is doing it. You're not just doing it because your homie is doing it. Like, nah, you looked into, you read deep, you did the research like you said. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is something that I put my whole heart and mind on. This is something that I stand for. So I'll just say assess the situation, and then if you need to, at that point, feel like you need to go ahead and go through with it and do whatever else, like and share and all that other stuff, even though others may deem it as wrong. And that's the other thing, because once you do the research, regardless of somebody think it's positive, negative, or positive, you're going to stand up for what you believe in no matter what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think just assess the situation. Yeah, I like, and I think mine may be that enough is enough moment. So it's more so shifting our focus. You know what I mean? So we just named, it's not about the clubbing, because again, I like to part where I used to, I don't really like part, but I will go party, I should say that. But it's more so shifting our focus to understand it's cool to go party, but how are you adding value to the community? Right. You get what I'm saying? So it's not about not party, it's about how am I making my computer a better place? I mean, my community a better place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if people are waking up with the conscious mindset of how am I adding value to the community, shifting their focus, I think that's a game changer. Yeah. If you really, every morning you get up and you say, how am I adding value to the world? How am I adding value to my community? That's going to shift your focus, and you're going to start coming up with solutions yourself. Yeah. Because I can say good morning, simple things. I can get up and go say good morning to the people I go into work, or when I'm walking by people, or hold the door for the lady that's coming. It's small things that we can do to shift the focus. Again, it's going to stop people from celebrating nothing. You know, so I think it's all, because it all starts our focus. I think our focus is all jacked up. And it starts with what I said earlier with us not being aligned and us not having a strategy, not being on the same page. So we don't know what to focus on. We turn on the TVs and we look at social media. If social media, if a TikTok says, we're gonna, I don't want to say I'm gonna say it. The phone, no, it is that. Or you're gonna die, about to say you're gonna die at a certain time. Everybody gonna start scrambling around just because social media said that. Same thing we said, the alerts, and there's just different things that send us in a whole chaotic, sporadic, discombobulated. You get what I'm saying? And I think we can do a better job of just having our focus, man. Focusing on what we really want for ourselves and what we want for our community. And if you can identify those things for yourself, it's gonna help you. You know what I mean? This is what I want for myself. This is what I want for my community. Then that's gonna give you the answers. Then you will stop celebrating the club fire. You will stop celebrating the little things that don't really matter.
Right.
It'll give you a more aligned focus. You know what I'm saying? So that's me. But man, great topic today, fellas. We these days, man, and you that's watching, you know what I mean? I hope you can take something from this conversation. There's a lot of things, for yourself. I want you to ask yourself, do I celebrate nothing? Am I consciously going out? Am I consciously out doing things that's adding no value to myself, my kids, my family, my community? Ask yourself those questions because you'll be able to come up with solutions on yourself. I've self-assessing, like Eddie said, self-assessing yourself and be able to come up with a solution. Like, I can just do this. There's simple little shifts that we can do. Your simple shift plus my simple shift plus his simple shift add up to a big old thing. That's just like when they take them sits, all them sits, and when they ask you at the cash register, do you want to get the rest of your sick? To you, it seemed easy, but for the last 100,000 people that don't came through here, don't gave them sits. That sits added up. At the end of the day, them people made a lot of money. And for us, we got to be able to have that mindset, that my little shift, my little cents added to my community is going to help for the overall goal. A lot of people think that it's not much. They can look at the individual self, like me changing my diet or me changing ain't going to help nobody. You know what I mean? But that little small shift that you going to do is going to change the world. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because your shift added up with everybody else's shift is game changer, man. Be a game changer. Got to focus on being a game changer. You got to wake up with that mentality, though. Again, I wake up with I'm on some Coach Prime stuff. What Coach Prime said, my confidence, what it say, do my confidence make your insecurities, whatever that is to say. You know what I mean? That's what type vibe I be on. But nah, man, good podcast. Again, I'm going to remind you all, Community Fun Day, December the 2nd. We're having a Community Fun Day, Central Christian Church, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're playing kickball, man. I know everybody loves kickball. We have some teams we'll be putting together for the kickball event. Vendors, free food, man. It's a real fun, chill environment. Everybody comes out. We're getting into that holiday spirit, right after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas. So we already in the spirit of giving, the spirit of love, the spirit of family. Is the season. So let's love on each other. Again, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, what are you waiting on? Right now is your time to do is subscribe to the to the Cut Different, to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to us. Follow us on Facebook at EL2A Podcast, and follow us on Instagram as well. The same thing, EL2A Podcast. It's supposed to release the access. We hope that this information that you're getting is game changer, is life changer. Get your kids in the living room. Let them watch it with you. You guys can be able to have conversations so you can strategize. We talk about strategy here in the community, strategize, but we need strategies in the household as well. What do you want for your kids? What do you want for yourself? What do you want for each other? You know what I mean? Being able to ask your kids, what do you want mommy to do for you? What do you want daddy to do for you? So you guys can all align yourselves and be on the same page. This is a pivotal thing. So many times that we think that kids shouldn't have to understand why I do things. They should have a level of understanding of why these things are happening. So when they get of age, they have an understanding that they have the ability to act for change, or they have the ability to speak up for themselves. They have the ability to not just go just because the government says something, do it. Just because all they mom and daddy told them do it and they had to do it. You know what I mean? We have to be able to raise our kids in the way they should go. All right? So y'all folks got anything else? Oh, good. Go Seminoles. The boy say go Seminoles. You got a Gator man right here. I got Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech. Shout out to John Gilmore. All right, fam. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see y'all next week.